Hail the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole! Oh, demon! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy!
Happy trails, Hans.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, everybody, do King Dingbat here, and welcome to sunny Las Vegas. And it is sunny and it is hot, but we're out here for a few weeks. And the reason I'm out here for a few weeks is because my sister and brother-in-law, they had to go to Italy. They called me up. They said, hey, would you be interested in coming out here watching your nephew and niece while we're gone? I thought that was a great idea. I thought it was a great idea for my kids to come out, spend some time with their cousins, for me to spend time with them. And you know, that's what we did. And when we got here, it was so funny because my youngest niece, she is a Philly 500 fan. She watches all Philly 500 videos, and she walks around the house calling herself Little Girl 500. And she's got my hat and my glasses, so that's why I had to put it in the intro, because I think it's so funny that she's Little Girl 500 and she watches these videos. Now, I hope you all had a great Father's Day. I hope it was just a great day for you, for your father, for your family. I hope you guys had a great day. I called my dad up, and you know, we were talking for a while, and we started talking about the Eagles, and we were talking about how different today's Eagles are compared to what they were, you know, when my dad grew up, even when I was growing up, and how we are really in the golden era of Philadelphia Eagles football, in my opinion. You know, like my dad said during the phone call, I thought he summed it up perfect. He said, for these young Eagle fans, the young generation of Eagle fans, this is not your dad's Eagles. This is not your dad's Eagles, because when we were growing up, you know, you had to go through a lot of suffering. You knew how to suffer. You knew it. I mean, my dad grew up, you know, he watched all the 70s and 60s. He watched some really, really bad football. You know what I mean? He grew up, his favorite player was Tommy McDonald. He loved Concrete Charlie. He loved all those guys. He did get to see a championship, but not a Super Bowl. For me, the first time I emotionally became attached to the Eagles and fell in love with them on an emotional level was the day that Dick Vermeil was crying and resigning as Eagles football coach. I remember watching that on the news and just falling in love with him, with the Eagles, and I became emotionally attached to the Eagles that day. I really don't remember too much before then. I mean, I knew my whole family were Eagle fans, so I liked the Eagles in those terms. But that was the day that I became attached to the Eagles. And think about it, it was on a hard moment. It was on a tough moment. And those moments continued for years and years. You talk about the Fog Bowl. Okay, I mean, the Fog Bowl, we were ready to go. And the Fog Bowl comes out of nowhere. And I really believe that we win that game, we go all the way. And that Fog Bowl really screwed us up. And then, you know, you look at the years that we had Andy Reid, right? We get a team that's good enough to go to 4 NFC championship games. And now I was like, I want to say 26 years old before we even went to one NFC championship game. I never saw one up until that point. And we lost 4. We went to, 4 in a row. We lost 3. I'll never forget the Tampa Bay loss last playoff game at the Vet. Last game at the Vet. That's right, because the next season they opened against Tampa at home at the Link. And that was tough. All those years were tough, and those were considered like golden era of Eagles football at the time, like going to all those championship games with McNabb and that whole team. But they didn't win. Now, for a lot of you younger guys, man, all you know is success. You know what it's like to win a Super Bowl. And I'm glad. And believe me, you're going to get to watch a lot more, because I think this Eagles team, I think as long as you have the North Dakota assassin, boom, 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 you know what I mean? And Howie doing his thing. I think that this team should be competitive for the next 10 years. I think they're going to win multiple Super Bowls. And I stand by that. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I believe we are in the golden era of Eagles football, and it's exciting, and I've waited my whole life for it. But yeah, you know, having Father's Day yesterday and being able to talk to my dad about just football, and just thinking about, you know, with what a lot of you guys who are younger Eagle fans, your dads are probably around the same age as me, okay? I'm an old man. I'm 44 years old. Do I look 44 by way? Look at 44s can't move like this. 44s can't do this. Look at that. Babyface assassin. That's what they call me in the boxing world. But anyways, I'm just rambling now. But no, I mean, I think we're in the golden era, and it's very interesting when you go back and you look at history and you talk to, like, you know, the older generations, you know, and that's what I was doing yesterday with my dad because, you know, Father's Day. And it made me think of everything we've all gone through, especially as older Eagle fans. And now, to be at this moment where the Eagles can actually win it all, you know, multiple Super Bowls, I think it is something. Just been waiting for this my whole life. I'm so excited about this year. Can this season just start already? Can it just start? Matter of fact, I'm getting ready. So here are my plans for today. I'll tell you real quick. We're going to go swimming later. My other sister lives out here too, and she's coming over, and my brother's out here, and they're going to come over. I have brought my PlayStation VR. So my thing today is when they come over, I'm going to set up PlayStation VR. Then if you guys ever watch PSVR, you put the thing on, and then there's this Shark Tank, right? There's a demo on the PlayStation VR where you can do, like, you can go in this Shark Tank and you go down, and I'm going to put them in it. I want to see what they do. I think my sister's going to freak out. Actually, I'll probably record it, and if it's good, I'll put it up on the channel because it'll be funny. But so I'm going to do that. I'm going to also, like I said, go swimming, but I'm also headed to the casino in a little bit, and I'm going to get basically the odds for the Eagles, for all the teams, for football futures today, you know, for this season. And I'm going to get that. I'll go over some of that with you guys. And, you know, I want to start planning some bets, and I want you guys to help me put up some good bets for this season for football. Of course, I'm taking Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I'm taking Carson Wentz to win MVP. But I'm very curious to see what the odds are. So we're going to do that in a little bit. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about really quick before I head to the casino to see all the NFL betting odds is I want to talk to you guys about the second-year player I'm most intrigued to see and see his progress going into preseason. Because, look, this is a slow time of year, okay? Right now, the Eagles are off until training camp starts. All the NFL teams are off until training camp starts. And this is when Dallas Cowboy fans are worried. They're worried that their players are going to get arrested, because that's when usually Dallas Cowboy players do get arrested, this time of year, okay? And for me, this is when I start thinking about the players that we saw last year in preseason, the guys that, you know, were rookies or who showed us something last year, and I want to see their progression. Like Jordan Mailata, he never had put on pads a year ago. He came into training camp, learned a lot. In preseason, he showed that he was very talented. I want to see his progress, you know what I mean? But the other guy that I really want to see, and I think he's a very important player for the Eagles, and that is Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat, I think, is going to play an important role for the Eagles. With Chris Long gone and retiring, we need a fourth defensive end. And with the Eagles and the way they like to rotate defensive ends and that defensive line in and out, you need another good pass rusher. And, you know, I think they wanted Chris Long to come back, but he didn't. And I think that Josh Sweat is going to play an important role. Can he win that job? Can he be that fourth defensive end? Sharif Miller is a rookie. I don't know what you can expect from a rookie his first year. I look at him as more of a guy, you know, 2 years down the road, 3 years. Let's see what he can do. Let's see how they develop him. You have Joe Osman, who has shown, you know, he's shown that he could be good at times, but can he be the fourth defensive end? I don't know. And then you have Jim Schwartz, who talked about a few weeks ago that he kind of expects the Eagles to make another move at that defensive end position to bring in another guy. And I think that Josh Sweat, and depending upon how he looks in preseason and in training camp, will determine whether the Eagles go out and bring in another defensive end, because I think they will. And when I say, you know, like trade for one, I don't think it'll be a blockbuster, big, huge deal. But I think, you know, maybe somebody who is on the verge of getting cut from a 53-man roster, maybe somebody, you know, who is a salary cap hit. You know, a lot of times you get veteran guys who are decent players who go into training camp, they go into preseason, and you get some young guy who actually is playing so well that the team lets the older veteran guy go because of money reasons or whatever. So people become available. And this is one of the reasons why I didn't want Joe Douglas to leave at the time he left. I wanted him to wait until at least after the year, at least after preseason, and we have that 53-man roster set. But yeah, I tell you this, I think that the progression from year 1 to year 2 for Josh Sweat is one of the most underrated stories going into preseason, because the Eagles want 4 defensive ends. They want 4 pass rushers that can rotate in, and they're going to get it. Now, if he comes into preseason, he struggles. Let's say we go a few weeks of preseason and we're like, he hasn't shown us anything, he's been invisible. I expect the Eagles to make a move to get another defensive end. If he's really good and he's showing himself, then I don't think they will. I think he will win that 4th spot. I think it's his to lose, basically. And Josh Sweat, I expect him to come and look good. I think he's going to look great, because he showed enough to me last year that I think with a whole nother year of development, hard work, I think he's going to be just what we need, and it's going to be exciting to watch him. Now, as you know, we get closer to training camp at this time of year, I'm going to start talking a little bit more about, you know, the guys to watch during preseason, the guys that are fighting for jobs, different matchup battles, because those are very interesting. But Josh Sweat is going to play an important part for this Eagles defensive rotation. Losing Chris Long, it was horrible in a way, because we always had guys to rotate in, fresh guys, and I don't know what we can expect from Vinny Curry, if I'm honest. I know he's going to give us 110%, but is he going to get us 7 sacks, 6 sacks, 8 sacks? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think Josh Sweat is going to play an important role. Now, it's getting hot out here. I'm going to head to the casino. I will be back in my next video. I will be talking about the odds. I'll be going over it with you. You guys help me make good bets. There's also a couple shout outs to a couple guys out there, some of my subscribers that I want to mention, and we'll get more into that in the next video. Also, I should say this, as far as the NBA draft goes, because a lot of people asking me if I'm streaming it, I don't know if I'm going to stream the NBA draft right now or not, because I just don't know if I'm going to be in a position where I can stream it and be able to do it here, not at home. So we'll see, but I'll definitely be talking about whatever the Sixers do for sure. But with that said, tell me what you think. Is Josh Sweat the answer at that 4th defensive end spot? Is he going to show us something in training camp? I think he is. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to look great, and I can't wait for it. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.